Hello everybody, James Donovan, I am Market Tips. Thanks for tuning in to this fourth tutorial video, the Backlink Beast. And before I dive into some other cool tricks and tips, I just want to clean house a little bit. Some of you have notified me of some problems that you've been having with the Beast. And basically what I want to say about, address them, number one, but also hit up the support desk, top-notch support. They'll get back to you and help you in any way. Definitely use them as a resource, but one of the simplest things I can say about some of the issues is the success rate. And when I got back and forth, I figured it out. Is that especially in Windows 7s, you guys got to right click and run as an administrator. If you don't do that, the Beast won't function properly. It needs to have those permissions to be able to do some stuff in your back office and your operating system. So make sure you right click and run as administrator. Secondly, you kind of notice the message that the Beast is not responding when it's loading. That's natural. There's nothing to worry about, but that does happen. So just make sure that when it does, you don't freak out. If you email the support, they'll tell you all about it. But basically, those are the only two real serious issues we've been having, and that's really good. And a lot of you have been having a lot of success with it. Please continue. That's awesome. And I just want to dive into some great content and some stuff I found, and want to share it with you. This is a trick that I learned, and I stumbled upon it haphazardly, but it's very effective if you're taking on age domain sites and authority sites, okay, that don't have a huge social presence. If you think of social links, search engines are relying more and more on social presence to determine the site's validity. Google really would love in their best hearts of interest to get rid of backlinks altogether because, everybody spams it. So in their mind, they're really focusing on the social proof aspects of SEO. And what you can do to really supercharge your SEO is use the Backlink Beast through your social properties. And if you think of social links as themselves as a weapon in a war, it's like a stick of supercharged dynamite. But if you use the Backlink Beast and supercharge your social profiles, you're basically turning it into a tactical nuclear weapon. And it's very effective. And this is just a quick little cheesy diagram I drew up here. You have your money site or your video or whatever the case may be, your social, your FB pages, your Pinterest, your Google, your Twitter, and you want to put good content on these. And when you put the good content, you want to run backlinks to it. As you can see, I have here Tier 1 Web 2.0s as an example. You got your social bookmarks pointing to your Tier 3, which is your wiki links. And all this juice is going to pass right up through your social, giving that social proof to these social accounts and your content on your website. And it's going to supercharge your social presence. And it's going to beat a lot of your competitors out. So that is something definitely you want to take a look at, and make sure you use the same anchor text and all that other fun stuff. Your Spintax, make sure your Spintax is really good, and we'll talk about that in the next little slide, is chicken scratch I got going on. But you definitely want to make sure you do that, and you want to make sure your link velocity is not such that it's a suspect in the eyes of Google. Your personal blog networks. Now, I'm sure you've been in SEO. You've heard John Pierce and a lot of these guys talk about blog networks. The guys at Oh My God Cash Machine, you got Greg Morrison and Mike Long talking about these things, and they are the tune of a lot of success with SEO. The problem with that is looking at Google and what they are doing, they are really targeting blog networks. It doesn't mean they're not effective. You just have to be very careful about how you build them. And these guys, they charge a lot of money to people on a monthly basis to be able to use these private networks. And they do that because each one of them has their own separate IP and ghost hosting, so they don't get found or track backed. Alright, a lot of us don't have the resources to invest in that, and that's okay. You can do this by yourself and create your own blog network for, the price of CAPTCHA if you do your own content and things of that nature. How do you do that? Well, like I said in the last video series, Blogspot is a very good resource, and you could do your own private blog network on Blogspot, WordPress.com, and GoogleSites.com if you follow a couple rules. Number one, it's the same process as I just showed you here. You want to have your social properties in your blog, you want to have it monetized, and you want to run links to your social properties and to your content in the 3 tiers. And you want to make sure you target keywords where you can rank fairly easy but are valuable, so you can still get money and traffic from sales from your traffic on the back end. but when you do this, you want to make sure that you do them under different Google accounts. Okay, make sure you do them under different Google accounts and different proxies. Make sure you maintain them. There is something little known but very, 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 very prevalent. It's called the Woolly Mammoth update. And what is a Woolly Mammoth update? Well, basically, if you leave a site alone for too long and you don't refresh the content, they slap it. So you don't want to do that. In some cases, they'll de-index it, and you really don't want to do that. So if you do private blog networks, you get 20 of these blogspot sites, you maintain them periodically, you post to them monthly, you keep them fresh. That way you have this supercharged, and they're all ranking within these small keywords of 20 to 500 local monthly searches. You have yourself an effective weapon, the same as these guys are selling you access to. It does take a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears on your part to make it happen, but it is just as effective, and you're going to get money off the back end off these traffic that you're generating from the blogs as well. So it's a win-win situation, and that's just something I wanted to bring to your attention as another free nugget in gold. But it's very, very important that you make sure that you do things so that you don't get tracked back as a blog network, because Google will unleash fury on you if you do. Here's another couple things. You get your checklist and things like that. Number one, you want to make sure your on page is good. If you don't know all the statistical stuff about on page, use Traffic Travis and the site analytics component. They will tell you what's wrong with your on page so you can fix it, so you get that stuff taken away, and that's 30% of the battle right out the gate. And a lot of people don't do the on page right, even the big boys. They make mistakes. We all do. So it's very, very powerful to have a tool like Travis to be able to give you that insight and kindly remind you that no, you're not that good, go back and fix it. Your keyword research, absolutely important, and I'm going to put here, you want to make sure you set up your silos. Okay, your LSI keywords, right? You want to make sure that the main keyword is at the front, and your silos, meaning your LSI keyword frames that are related to, that you're going to build content around, different pages, are treeing off that main keyword and pushing that relevance to it. That's going to help you gain that authority. It's very, very important. That's absolutely key in this day and age. You want to link your profiles. The link profiles that you look in your links, you want to make sure you look at your competition. We talked about that in the last video. Use Ahrefs, SEO Moz, Backlink Watch. You want to make sure you find out how many backlinks your top competitors have. You don't want to show up to the fight with 1,000 links if your competitor only has 250 links. They're going to red flag you all day long and penalize you for that. You will not rank. So you don't want to do that. Keyword density 2% minimum. If it's under 2%, you need to look at your content and rewrite it into a way where it's getting 2% keyword density and you're not sounding like a complete weirdo. Okay, very, 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 very important. And another thing I want to talk about is Spintax. All right, now Matt Callan during the training videos did a lot of series, but he didn't spin in his content enough. By no means should you ever submit an article with that less of a spun content. You want to make sure you spin the titles significantly. Okay, so you're going to want to have different variations. I would say at least 35 title vary. Okay, you want to make sure you have at least 35 titles if you're doing a major submission. Now if you're only doing 15 backlinks, then you're not going to need 35 titles. But if you're going to run a slow drip campaign to 150 high PR Web 2.0 properties, you're going to want to make sure you have different variations in your titles. The keywords are very important as well. And a lot of these things, and this is another issue that I forgot to bring up in the housekeeping portion, is you only get 3 keywords to submit, 3 options, but you want to make sure you spin them. At least spin your keywords each 4 times with I'm spelling like the president today. 4 varied. Okay, you want to make sure you have at least 4 different variations. So you only get 3 of them. Okay, so you want to make sure you have 4 different variations of 3. Gosh dang, what am I doing? Me and typing. I can't type and talk at the same time. Now, your content should be spun very well, but you want to spin large chunks, okay? Not just, words. You want to spin words too, but you want to spin large chunks of content. You want to spin your paragraphs, you want to spin your sentences, and when you get to the point of your anchor text, okay? This is very important. Spin all before and after 7 variations. Okay, you want to spin at least 7 times. You want to make sure that everything before and after is definitely well spun. Okay, and there's a very significant reason for that. As a matter of fact, what I would suggest to you and what I've been doing is, when it comes time to put my anchor drop, I'll write a paragraph and submit different variations of that paragraph with the anchor text. It's a lot of work, but trust me, especially on your first tier, you want to make sure this happens. That way, when the spider crawls, they're seeing a lot of different text and a lot of different themes around the text surrounding the anchor text, so it looks totally natural. And not only that, but the anchor text is in different locations. Let's just say in the paragraph it's at the top of the paragraph in one variation. The second variation is down at the bottom. The third is somewhere in the middle, etc., etc. You get my point? But the issue is the spiders are very, very smart at detecting Spintax, and one thing that they're looking for is that they're looking for the same anchor text in the same place with the same similar content, within before the anchor text and after the anchor text. So it's very, very, very important that you do that. And also make sure that you put more than one link in there. Make sure you change it up. Use click here, use your URL. Don't just stick to the keywords and the LSI keywords. You want to make sure you get the bang out of the buck for the article. Take your time, write the content, or if you find an article online you want to use, an e-zine or article directory, just make sure you spin the heck out of it, because they do flag duplicate content. I ended up getting in trouble for that. I tried to take the easy way out. Normally I write my own content, but hey, I was pinched for time. When I got a green coffee article, I took it and I pulled it apart and I thought I was doing great, but you know what? They sniffed it out and I ended up suffering for that quite significantly. So I ended up having to disavowing the links and going through all that song and dance, and it wasn't pretty, and the site's still in kind of hot water because of it. So you don't want to get into that situation. Write your own content, or if you do not write your own content, make sure that article does not look anything like it did when it started. So that's why I write it, because it makes more sense to me just to do that. But anyway, these are just some of the more little gold nuggets, things that I think that will help you, things that I've learned myself. If I find more stuff out, or if you want more further information, hey, hit me up in the comment box. I'll be glad to help you any way I can. This is James Donovan. I am Market Tips to your success. Have a good one. Bye.